So the final part of track preparation is underway right now. You can see that traction compound hitting the drag strip on a picturesque Saturday evening here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And that will be the final piece of the puzzle as that tractor is pulling a flat tire drag and laying down the traction compound at the same time. We have top fuel cars from all over the nation, from Western Canada, California, you name it. Certainly a test of man and machine, even beyond what it normally is in these categories, to run them in this heat. The good news is many of these cars and teams have run here many times. They kind of understand the dynamics of this racetrack when the temperature comes up.
Yeah, well, he was not going to catch it. I mean, he was just back behind it at the 8 mile, so even if it's hung together, he would have run somewhere down, let's call it, high 80s or something like that if you look at the incrementals, but I don't think he's got around 56. Either way, great final round and the rivalry continues. More final round action as we look at the top of Nitro. Great expectations for Tyler Hilton, Bobby the Gang, defending world champion. Make the big championship shot. Defending race winner here. 2 years ago, we went up with Motor. Big fire, new fire. That was a new race. For the Hawaii, we got back to second.
Little gas, little thumbs up, little nod.
Feels a little better when you're coming in. You know you have a tunable race car that'll run what you want it to run and run quick and hard. As far as having a target on our back, I try not to think about that kind of stuff. There's been a lot of drama and a lot of talk the last almost year now, you know, and I've tried to just put it all behind me and focus on running our own race. Sitting in a car that's doing what it's supposed to do every lap and being happy, you know, that makes you a little more confident as a driver. But try not to be too overconfident or cocky because these things can always throw you a curveball.
It's definitely a learning experience. You know, like Sean Van Horn has said in the past, you can drive a fuel altered through LA traffic. You know, you can manhandle those cars around the racetrack. And the first couple passes I made in the top fuel car, I kind of learned you can't do that with these cars. They react a little bit slower because of the wheelbase. So you know, you got to be a little bit more patient, like Adam Sorokin says. You got to be a little bit more patient when you're driving these cars. And we're just ready for something new. You know, I've got to make another run in the 650 or faster at over 200. So Mike Rice was kind enough to let us sit in the back of the first round of qualifying today and make my last qualifying or my last licensing attempt here with the first round of qualifying, and then we'll go for Q2 and try and qualify for the show.
Yeah, I love this place. I mean, when we first came You know, we heard about the nostalgia racing in the 90s, but I didn't ever go to any. I think this race is, when they had it the first or second year, I came to it, and I was like, man, I could actually do this. So I started working towards building a car then, like in, maybe it was 04 or 05, and I love this place. I mean, it's like a home track kind of for us now for this type of racing. We figured out a way to tune the car up a little bit more without hurting anything. So the clutch is the main thing that sped the car up, you know. So we're hoping to run some 80s this year, but, you know, we're probably not trying to do that the first run out here. We're going to just probably going to make a half run.
The first pair of Nitro cars down the track at the inaugural Wally Park NHRA Nostalgia Nationals presented by Wally. Kowski running the small block Chevrolet power plant. Kowski with the better reaction time, but the heavy car running away. 596, 223 miles an hour to 681 at 214 miles an hour. Good clean runs for both.
Well, it feels like going to Churchill Downs. I feel like I should wear one of those big floppy hats and eat a Kentucky Brown or whatever they call those things, you know, before we go make a run. But it's beautiful out here. Part of the thing that I like about the track the most is that the grandstands are like right on top of the racetrack, and they're covered. And so it's a lot more intimate setting than what you might see at like a national event caliber kind of track where everybody's a little farther off. What we have in store for racing at Bowling Green this year is just getting the car to run all the way to the end without hurting itself. We've had some parts breakage that we've been battling through. We went through everything. Everything's brand new. Hopefully everything stays together. It's hot as hell out here. It's humid. It's a pretty tight track. And we're just going to pour the coals to it and, you know, battle 1/4 mile at a time.
Working off the mark. Car sounding good. Is he going to make a full pass or will he click it off early? He runs it out the back. 6:27. Tyler Hilton coming up now out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And Jim Murphy, the 79-year-old general contractor, the 2013 Nielsen Park chassis with the Rodeck 417. Tyler Hilton out of Cincinnati. Got the number. He has been one of the top runners since he started with this. He's only been running top fuel for a while. His dad, Bobby Hilton, hot rod builder extraordinaire. Hilton all over the place. He has to back out of it. Murphy puffs a little bit of smoke. Goes 594, 222 miles an hour. Hilton backs out of it. Car got out of shape. He held it out for 766. Mike Hilton fires up over the left lane, getting ready to go out of Ohio. Wyoming, Ohio. It's McKinley chassis with 392 Donovan. Bobby Hilton working on that, so we got another family member it appears.
Oh, I've been sitting in them since I was 10 years old, making noise and making passes. But this is a whole different story once you put the pedal down. It got my attention. You know, it's got all the best parts you could want. We had it at Indy here about a month ago. Made a few passes, but just like new car bugs in anything, it needed a little work, and we hopefully got them figured out. We're here this weekend to finish getting my license. See, over 65 years coming to the Beech Bend here, and this won't be the last.
That's a good low. Backs out of it, gets out of shape, and lifts. Got a 1.160 for a 2.9 to 330. It's a little out of shape, pedals it, gets back in it again. Gets it to the finish line with a 692, 225.
It's really hard to run in humidity. I mean, it was 93 degrees. The water vapors are 92.6. That's, I mean, it's very humid. It's just difficult to run, you know. It's been a while since we've run in these kind of conditions. You know, we weren't here last year, and so looking back was really easy. You know, Murphy's Law, whatever will happen. But if I'd have shut it off at, you know, like 900, 800 feet, 900 feet would have been fine. I could have jiggled some things around, but I didn't, and we'll pay the price. And we've got stuff to fix it, so we'll have it back ready to go again.
See, the dinosaur's got this out, and he's like, why don't you just use your phone?
Hey man, this is Don.
Too shaky. So I shut off a little early. It was shaking. The track's hot. They said the track was 150 degrees when we ran, 145 when they were setting the tire pressure. So, but it went down through there. So we might have heard a piston, which I didn't expect to do that, but we're going to take it apart and see. But when we went over the scales, the car keeps getting heavier and heavier. I don't know. We put a weight bar on there, so there you go. All you take weight off here and you add it somewhere else. But I think it's, you know, everything else is pretty much the same. So I think we can run 80s if we can keep this thing in one piece.
Went 692 at 225, which I think was top speed of that first session there for everybody. Shook the tires again about 300 feet out, had to pedal it. They changed the rules recently that you have to run 650 at over 200. It used to be 699, so it would have been good enough to get my license. We'll make one more tomorrow and keep trying at it, you know, and see what happens. But like I said, it's a slow process. It's a learning process for myself, a learning process for my father, my uncle, who are helping tune the car. You know, we're just trying to get it together and be competitive, you know, but it's taken a little longer than we wanted, but good things don't happen overnight.
Bobby Hilton bugged me for a couple seasons saying, you gotta come out, you gotta come out, you gotta come out. This is right up your alley, Phil. You'll just love it. And I finally did it this year, and you know, I was talking to him last night, and I went, thanks man for pushing me. Because we drove up from Bakersfield and left the car, went and visited with the Hiltons and left the car in Bowling Green. And so we flew in, so it's nice we're not here all wiped out and worn out from traveling for 5 days. You know, everything was sitting here. So, you know, we're pumped, we're having a good time. We heard it pretty good, but we're going the right direction, and you just gotta hang in there. It is the coolest track I've ever been to, ever. Just arriving here and driving in with the fences and the rolling grass fields and the farms, how the people, how they just treat you when you talk to them at the front gate. You walk the track is beautiful, the shutdown area is good, the return road's good, the pits are good. You go to the washrooms, they're clean. The whole facility is just exactly what you want to be at. And the air conditions are a challenge for us, but they're not too far off. You know, we run Boise and some things like that, so it's the humidity, it's a big challenge, the moisture in the fuel. But this is the best racetrack I've been to.
So these cars are highly regulated. If you're wondering, if you're watching it, they're regulated to a small supercharger. They're regulated to a small fuel pump, and those are really the two major elements you need to control in order to control the horsepower level of a nitro-burning engine. Again, on a solo pass, we're really going to be able to tell if the car is hooked up all the way to the finish line. We'll listen to that RPM rise. Yeah, that was brilliant. 593.7, 198 out of the throttle early, but we look at those early numbers, a 104.60 foot time, which means power management. You can see those tracks leaving. You know, for Tyler Hilton, defending world champion in this category, the car is called Great Expectations 3.
Now we talk about Julian Schussman's speed shop. He builds hot rods for a living. Good smooth runs. Wow, 583 and a 596. Hughes runs the same as he did in his last run. Hilton pulls up an 83 to go into the number 1 spot, a 10th ahead of Sorokin.
What a career Jim Murphy has had and continues to have in drag racing. Funny cars, rear engine top fuel dragsters, front engine top fuel dragsters. He has driven it all and he's won it all. They have found a place they like on the racetrack, and you notice that they didn't necessarily go in their own tracks. So they really got light on the clutch early. Murphy throws the chutes out early, goes 6:15, 1:92. They were 1.07 seconds to 60 feet, and the first thing you notice if you're watching from the starting line was that dust that came out when he hit the gas. So they softened the clutch way up. So the car was sawing through the clutch early so it didn't spin the tires, and then you heard the motor pull down as they fed it clutch. Eighth mile numbers are still where they kind of want them to be, 4:01 at 2:01.
Getting past the 600 foot mark, we haven't been able to get past that. So I think once we get the motor together and the fuel system right, we'll get past that. You don't want to go past there too far with it not being right. It just makes it that much more wrong.
Bobby's bringing them up to the starting line. But how much different are those cars?
I don't think if you're going to run two of these things, I don't think you want to get them too far apart from each other just to be consistent one way to the next.
RPM's coming up high, still shuts off real early, 712.
That thing mowed through the clutch early. So that thunderous idol of the Nanook top fuel car maintaining a multi-generational lineage in nitro drag racing. Motor sounds very healthy, pound to the air as it moves up to pre-stage. Short time looks pretty decent, had a little wheel speed. He's going to take it to the house. How about 6:31.7 at 233? It was making a little wheel speed early. I'd probably get a little bit more aggressive with it in the middle of the racetrack.
It was slow out there in the middle, but it didn't shake.
Yeah, hit the high speed because it looked like it overfueled.
It overfueled, yeah. About 700-800 feet it started to overfuel itself. Let's go racing. You know, I'll tell you what, just like, I mean, I've watched so many videos of these top fuel guys, you know, Jim Murphy, Brendan Murray, Adam Sorokin, James Day when he drove this thing, and when they say it's an unholy ride, it's an unholy ride. It's something I've never experienced before, and it's awesome. I can't wait to go mix it up with these guys and get racing and run for a trophy, you know, mix it up with some of these young guys. You know, I'm like an old guy with these guys, you know, Tyler Hester, Tyler Hilton, both younger than me, but I'm ready, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a little better. Still a little soft. We found some stuff that was a little different from what we were doing last night, and it all worked out. So I don't know, shut it off early. It's still soft, it's hot out, so everyone's fighting that, but we'll take it. 583 is pretty good.
60-foot got way improved, but I felt a lot of shake, trying to figure out whether it's overpower shake or underpower shake. But it was a good second, 1.2, 1.3 seconds of shake. And pay real close attention to whether the frequency speeds up and it'll go through it, or if it gets the same and then you need to spike the brake or pedal or whatever you do to alleviate that. It felt a lot stronger to half track. After half track, it went a little fat, stopped pulling for about a second. We were doing a planned shut off at 1,000 feet, and it ran a 593 or 4, I think it was. I'm not sure what it was, but definitely an improvement. And the more runs we get, the better we get. Everything's good so far. We'll see.
Yeah, for some reason we tend to run good here in the heat, whereas we don't run as good as we used to in the cooler temperatures of, say, Bakersfield. Over the years, we've made lots of laps here in the heat, and we used to tour here. We would run 2 or 3 races in a month back here, and that experience kind of pays off. The fans out here are incredible. The track's good. The event's a fun event, and you can tie a working vacation onto it to make it all work out.
Now, Brendan Murray has come onto the tower for the first time this weekend, right? We didn't see him in Q2 either. Well, he did the burnout completely out of the way of where they want to place the race car. They want it to be in the freshly groomed rubber, not in the tracks they laid down, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to split the wickets with that thing right here. And Murray's car rolls through the beams. He'll get a 28-second elapsed time, so he'll be stuffed at the bottom of the sheet. 596.7, only 226. Murphy again drove it to 1,000 feet and shut it off. The 8th mile ET of 399.5 at 201. It was going to run 250 mile an hour, give or take, but he clicked it early, likely to just save equipment.
So Sorokin does a big burnout.
Yeah, that was kind of odd. He's obviously not going to be lacking for track temperature, and it's certainly not the be-all, end-all if you do have a burnout issue on a racetrack that's 120 plus degrees. There you go, 571.8, 259 for Tyler Hilton, just shy of 260 miles an hour. And Sorokin's boy in the bubble look down there, probably some oil on the goggles as he smoked at least a couple of pistons out of that motor. 6:02.3 for Sorokin. But 571.8, 259.21 for Tyler Hilton places him 0.2 of a second ahead of the nearest competitor of Adam Sorokin.
It was a good run for us, stepped up. Conditions are actually not that bad right now, so got it down in there towards the finish line. Motor's happy, so we're just going to tune it up and be ready for tomorrow. He's a good lever. That car snaps when it leaves, you know, and we kind of charge in the middle and at the other end, so I'm going to get up on my game and try to get up on the lights a little bit and see where we end up.
We had some parts breakage for the last 3 outings, and I think we've solved what the issue is on that. So we're not breaking rods. You know, knock on wood, we'll continue that trend. But we gave it a little bit more power. The 60-foot was better. Half track's a little better. I think we're going in the right direction, you know. And so depending upon pairings for tomorrow, maybe we'll get a gimme to try some things and work on that top end, and hopefully in a couple rounds we might be able to go to the final, you know, see what happens.
Car was trucking down through there. I mean, it ran hard, kind of overfueled itself on the other end, but it wasn't missing a beat. It kept charging. Brought it back and leaked it down, and it didn't leak very good, so we decided to take it apart and spun a rod bearing, blacked the crank. So we're done for the weekend. Might be done for a race or two till we get our stuff together, get it all figured out so we can be competitive with these guys. But on the other hand, we got a license, and we can go racing with the big boys now. And we were ecstatic until we took it apart and found that it was hurt. But yeah, we're just, I mean, everyone that helps me out, my dad, my uncle, my girlfriend, my mom, it's all a family affair, you know. My cousin, you know, just started a new job. He couldn't come out this weekend. He was planning on being here. You know, we all have Monday through Friday jobs and go racing on the weekends as a hobby. So I got to be a little leery of everybody's schedules and make sure that we can make everything work so that we can all go racing together as a family and keep this dream alive.
Where's the golf cart?
Came here with a whole different combination because we struggled most of the year with the car. So the first run was a bit of a guess, and we didn't guess real good because we actually burned a piston and a chunk of aluminum got underneath the valve and popped the blower. And so for the third qualifier, everything looked pretty good, although I felt a little bit of fuel or something about probably 900 feet, 900 feet, so I shut it off, not knowing what it was, and it turned out there was a fitting that was loose that was spray, but I didn't know that at the time. So all in all, we're pretty happy with where we're at, and we'll get after a little bit more this morning and see if we can't start improving our times, because there's a few cars ahead of us that are running quite well. So we need to step up our game if we feel we have any chance. So that's what we've done.
I don't know really what happened. It seemed like the car ran a little bit longer, and the tug on the clutch pulled it in, and then I was pulling hard, and the brakes just didn't hold it. They might have been cold or whatever, and it just slightly rolled me in, and I rolled through the lights. I left off of him leaving, and then, you know, the car ran pretty good at about half track. It reeled him in pretty hard, and then, you know, I want to say he probably lifted a little bit early, and I motored on by the other end. On top of that, we have no time slip, no information, and no computer. So as it gets, you know, the drama keeps unfolding here. We had one motor, for some apparent reason, was possessed by the devil. So we changed it, and now we have a car we can at least start and run. So we're just going to have to see. We got the Champion Speed Shop guys, which are always tough. But the last time we ran those guys here, I think that we squeezed by them. So you never can tell what's going to happen with this kind of racing.
The twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Exceptionally well done as always, Mr. Carver. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And what a packed house we have. Thank you so much, Chaplain Rao. And we have Top Fuel Dragster started for round 1 eliminations as Adam Sorokin and Brendan Murray take to the racetrack. Look, Crescent of California. He's got a 377 cubic inch Alan Johnson small block running on a very stiff load of nitromethane at his toe tips. Having had such a legendary father in the sport, but he took his time and he has done it on his own schedule and he has done it successfully. He has won the March meet. He has won some of the largest races that you can win in a front engine Top Fuel Dragster. And Brendan Murray already in pre-stage. The idle high on Murray's car on the left-hand side of the racetrack. Raw fuel spinning from the pipes at Sorokin's car on the Jake side. Off they go, and it will be Sorokin, a sizable lead to the 8th mile, and Sorokin smokes the pistons out of it, goes 584 at 214 through the top end of the drag strip. Brendan Murray, 613 with a 6 at 223 miles an hour, got left on by Sorokin, and the incrementals tell the story. Yeah, they got the small wings in front of the rear tires, and a couple of the differences we know about a modern front-engine Top Fuel Dragster versus a period car. The first thing you'll notice is, of course, the number of bars that surround the head of the driver in Tyler Hilton. The famous and beautiful, the symmetry of a 3-point roll bar is awesome.
Yeah.
It is just not something you want to be in going 260 miles an hour. He and Tyler both let their cars do the talking. Tyler Hilton's in. So they're 106 to 60 feet, and you saw the car start to skate around a little bit. He did a good job modulating the throttle, but once it moved toward the center, he clicked it off. That is discretion being the better part of valor. You're on a solo. Well, the Holy Smokes name has adorned so many different cars. But the Jim Murphy machine, in its green and black coloration, now moves toward pre-stage. In a wrestling match that he is going to win down there, and Murphy goes 582-2 at 258 into the cloud of smoke. I can see what appears to be a flicker of flame down there. I'm hoping that wasn't Raskowski's car. 665-1 at 193.
Although not when qualified.
We got folks rolling down there at the top end of the racetrack. It's always there is a fire down there. There was a fire, and I believe it was Raskowski's car going across the finish line. That massive cloud of smoke when the car went apparently lean enough to cook some pistons in Murphy's car, but Raskowski went into it at a headlong speed of 193 miles an hour, and there's just a couple of flickers that I saw. Now, in a front-engine dragster, that's doubly concerning. The fuel pump is smaller. They run a single magneto on these engines, not multiple magnetos. So those are the ways they kind of mitigate, try to manage the power. But make no mistake, these things still make thousands and thousands of nitro-fueled horsepower. Here comes Julius Hughes III. Began to shake the tires, and that's when he lifted. He got past the tree, and it started to shake the tires a little bit, clicks it off. He knows there's nobody in the other lane, and they will live to fight another round with a highway-friendly 63-mile-an-hour speed and a 13-second elapsed time.
one's getting a little wild. Yeah, it spun and shook a little bit there, and we clicked it because we had the bye run for being low qualifiers. So, yeah, we overpowered it a little bit. We're just going to make some adjustments and go back up there for second round and do our thing.
And then you got Julius Hughes second round, who's had a planned shut off that first round, but has been consistently in the 590s. He's going to have to keep you honest.
Yeah. I mean, you can't count anyone out in this deal. So they're tough racers, and they'll get it on. And we got to be prepared for everything that gets thrown at us.
Pretty happy actually. We didn't have the computer to work with, and we were making some educated old world guesses, and I think they're pretty right. I actually ran it probably 50 feet further than I should have. I didn't help things. I think if I'd have shut it off right where I was, it looks like I probably wouldn't have hurt things. And all in all, I think it was a very good run, a good step up, and very, very pleased with it.
I could see Jim out in front of me, and he's starting to stretch it out. And I saw him when he lifted, and you could see the motor. He had some motor troubles. There's a lot of smoke. And right when that happened, boom. All I could see was black, orange flames. And it started getting really, really, really hot. I could see the wall, went by the first shutdown area. I could see the safety guys coming up the track towards me, so I sort of headed towards them. As soon as I got near there, skidded it to a halt. And when I got out, I sort of climbed up onto the slick, and it was even hotter because the car was burning so bad. And I just jumped out, and the safety safari guy caught me and pulled me away from it. And 4 or 5 of those guys were fighting the fire. It was like burning like an out-of-control barbecue. Thank God to guys like Dennis Taylor, who always made sure I got the best fire gear. I love the guy. He just saved my ass. It's sort of part of the deal with the front motor fuel car. It's just the way it goes, but it definitely gets your attention. It was a hairy ride.
Well, he smoked the tires on his bye run, right? Did you see that? We just need him to do that again. But no, he probably won't do that. He'll probably make adjustments now that he did that. So, we're going to try to leave on him and try to tune the car up a little bit. We're going to do a little bit without hurting it and hope for the best. Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to outrun us. If he runs a 70, we ain't going to beat him. But if he runs a 80, might not be good enough.
Did you learn anything on that hit?
We put a new set of tires on the car, so one of my guys was really like, we got to launch it, we got to do a burn. So I did a big longer burnout, trying to break those new tires in, and it did shake a little bit, but it shakes every run on this with it hot like this. So we're going to stand on it though. We ain't got no choice.
You mentioned the idea of trimming that fuel. Gauge pack wise, what are you looking at? Are you just simply positioning the handle, or how are you doing it?
There's 2 ways, but generally they have a handle and a gauge, and it goes from 50 or 60 pounds idling to like 150, 160 pounds idling pressure.
So we can see now both cars in that final process being led. Why did he bring these cars? Explain this. Why are they brought just ahead of the pre-stage people?
The motors are going a little wet in the pipes, and when they let the clutch out, you'll see the pipes dry up and they'll go
Huge Holstein advantage for Tyler Hilton. On the right side of the racetrack, he's up by the center line. It's a 578.4, 259 for Tyler Hilton. Julius Hughes hung on to that one. A nice piece of driving, unfortunately just not quite quick enough. 599, 219 for Hughes, a 578, 259 for Hilton. Yeah, they have been running that car in that 590s. They qualified at a 596. They've been reeling off 590 runs, as you said. But boy, oh boy, Tyler Hilton, Bobby Hilton, that entire team looking ox-like strong out there.
we got a little bit left in the bank, but we're on the edge. Totally different circumstances, you know. It's just car runs great. It doesn't hurt any parts. It's easy to work on, and it does what we want it to do. The tuning, it's a little harder just because we can't throw as much at it. So we kind of got to use some restraint when we're making our decisions, but we're getting a handle on it. I think it's doing pretty well.
I shut it off at 1,135 feet, so that's why the speed was down. And then the final, the motor's nice and clean. We'll probably just trickle it a little bit and do our best. You know, we started off kind of a shaky 2023. We put it back to something we'd had before, and it seems to be working out. We've got to still just massage it some, but it appears we're on the right track. So that's good news.
We had a problem where getting the car from forward to reverse with the reverser, it didn't want to go into reverse. As I'm backing up, I eventually got it into reverse and kind of jammed it into reverse. And as I was backing up, I controlled the cadence of the car backing up with pushing the clutch in. And when I would try to do that, the clutch was not disengaging. It had no stall in the clutch. Got it into forward. And now my new problem is going to be when Bobby pulls the bleeds on the idle of the engine. It's going to raise the RPM, which is going to also get the clutch more engaged. And now my problem is going to be rolling through the light. Well, now I'm jammed up because I'm in full stage. Jim hasn't come down yet, so I have to quickly actually go to full pump. And as I'm going to full pump, the light comes down. I have to step off the clutch and hit the throttle way late, and I'm just lucky I didn't roll the light. Once we got rolling on the run, the car actually was pretty quick and was going along pretty good, and I was pacing Jim. And about half track, I felt like, well, if I keep this thing wooded, and he has a problem, I might be able to nip him in the lights. And that didn't happen, but when I went through the lights, all of a sudden it got hot and orange again. And kicked a couple rods, and then you go into self-preservation mode and try to keep the car straight and not run into anything and get it stopped. And I did that, and gotta say, before I even came to a full stop, the fire guys were already rolling up on me and putting me out and squirting me, and you know, it was a pretty good little fire. You know, there it is, right? You know, we did the thing and it didn't work out, and we go to the next one and try to do it. But I'm enthused about the future, so we'll see.
Little gas, little thumbs up, little nod.
Tyler Hilton comes in, he's 32 years young. Jim Murphy, the seasoned veteran, 79 years old.
Placing their cars respectable one another, almost a mirror image. You got Murphy is slightly right of what the normal center of the groove would be, and Hilton is slightly left of what the center of the groove would be on that left-hand side of the racetrack.
Both planning properly for what they need to do.
And look, they saw this thing get another shot of glue before they came out here, so there's a little bit more forgiveness in this racetrack than likely there would have been. And both of these cars are not going to be giving either a quarter in terms of the mechanical tune-up. And a 79-year-old guy is going to try to hang in the ring with a 32-year-old on reaction time, and I'm not counting him out for 1 second.
No, Murphy's got an excellent reaction time. He has to slow down a bit. He may be 79 years old chronically, but he's a 16-year-old at heart.
Both in pre-stage, the Top Fuel final round here at the Wally Parks NHRA Nostalgia Nationals. It's Murphy out first, but he's out of the groove to the right. Murphy trying to hang on to the race car at the finish line stripe. It's Hilton. 5.72.0 and 261 as Murphy goes a 5.85.7 and 260. 9/100ths of a second. And we look at those early numbers, and that's where Tyler Hilton gave up nearly 400ths of a second on Jim Murphy. And Murphy, by goodness, almost won on a hole shot, but Hilton had too much race car at the top end. Credit where it's due to Murphy. He had that car out where the buses don't run on the right side and did not lift for a bloody second. He kept his foot down. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the WW2 team of Jim Murphy coming on the right side. What an electrifying Top Fuel final round. And a hero's welcome they deserve. This is the championship crew of Great Expectations 3, your Top Fuel winner here in 2023.
Boise. Huh? We'll see you at Boise.
That was close.
Yeah, that's cool. Right on. Yeah, 2 years ago I had a horrible fire here. Last year I was in the final, won it, had another little fire. And this year, man, it's just, we had a couple struggles this weekend, but we all overcame it and the car ran good, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, and you know, and you got your dad here, your mom, your uncle,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
everybody.
all family, man. We've been racing here at Beech since the 60s. We ran here in 1967, you know, so it's cool to be able to win here again. It's really cool. So, we'll see you in Boise.
Thanks, Jim.
Fantastic final, two great speeds. You know, you ran good. You can't feel too bad.
Not too bad. I mean, it was a good race. Been the best race we've had in a while. So I think we've got our arms around a little bit again. Don't want to jump to conclusions, but I think we can run okay. Everything's clean as a whistle going through the lights that run. So that's always a good place to start. And they deserve it. They ran quicker than we did. So anyway, we'll see you at Boise. Okay. Thanks, Les. Bye-bye.
See you, Les. Thank you, Jim.
Les, like I said before, I can't put it in words, man. We're very fortunate to have this race car. We're excited for the rest of the season, and we're on our way to Boise.
Looking pretty good for another championship too.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. It was a challenging racetrack. It really was, man, because this car has a very narrow window, and we were having a hard time hitting it, but we hit it. We're excited.
Yeah, you did.
Party like you won.
I like these things. They're nice. I got like 4 others of them. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They had like the chrome. Yeah. It's a 33.
No, not that big.
Oh.
This is like all dark blue.
I think I know.
But it's another car he built. Anyway, this guy's there. It's a nice car. He got there early, man. He beat us there by just a little.